Meet Thomas. Thomas lives in the heart of Tokyo. He is surrounded by 14 million people. His phone buzzes every 30 seconds with notifications from friends, followers, and strangers. Yet as Thomas walks through the crowded subway, he feels a crushing sense of isolation. He is in the most connected era in history, but he feels like a ghost in a machine. Look at Thomas's ancestor, 30,000 years ago. Let's call him Akun. Akun lives in a small clearing with exactly 28 people. He knows the sound of every footstep. He knows the scent of every fire. Akun is never alone. Even in the silence of the forest, he is wrapped in the safety of his tribe. Why is Thomas miserable among millions, while Akun was fulfilled among dozens? The answer is a hard biological ceiling buried deep in your neocortex. It is called the Dunbar Limit. And if you don't understand it, you will spend your entire life feeling lonely in a room full of people. Stay with me until the end, because I'm going to show you the tribal reset, a specific neurological trigger that can end your loneliness in seconds. But first, we have to understand why your brain thinks everyone in your city is a threat. For 99% of human history, stranger was synonymous with danger. In Akun's world, if you saw a face you didn't recognize, it meant your life was at risk. The human brain evolved to manage a very specific number of social connections. Robin Dunbar, an evolutionary psychologist, discovered that the size of a primate's brain determines the size of its social group. For humans, that number is approximately 150. This is not a suggestion. It is a biological law. Your brain has enough RAM to track the personalities, histories, and trust levels of 150 individuals. Beyond that, the people around you cease to be human beings to your subconscious. They become background noise. They become obstacles. They become entities. Thomas walks past 10,000 people on his way to work. To his conscious mind, they are just commuters. But to his primal brain, he is being hunted. Every unknown face triggers a microdose of cortisol, the stress hormone. In the wild, being surrounded by thousands of strangers would be a death sentence. Your brain thinks you are behind enemy lines every time you step into a shopping mall. This is the urban paradox. The more people we pack into a space, the more we trigger the brain's defense mechanisms. We build walls, we put on noise-canceling headphones, and we avoid eye contact. We are biologically protecting ourselves from a social overload our DNA cannot process. Think about your social media. You might have 2,000 friends on Instagram. But how many of them would you trust to watch your child or lend you money in a crisis? When you scroll through a feed of hundreds of people, you are exhausting your Dunbar capacity on digital ghosts. You are giving away your limited social tokens to influencers and distant acquaintances. By the time you get home to your actual family or your few real friends, your social brain is bankrupt. You feel peopled out even though you haven't had a real conversation all day. This is why Thomas feels lonely. His 150 slots are filled with pixels, leaving no room for the people standing right next to him. In the tribe, every relationship had a cost and a reward. You groomed each other, you hunted together, you shared the warmth of the fire. This physical proximity triggered oxytocin, the social glue of the human species. Oxytocin lowers blood pressure. It reduces anxiety, makes you feel at home in a crowded city. You have plenty of social transactions, but very little social glue. We buy coffee from a barista we don't know. We sit next to a passenger we will never see again. These are frictionless interactions. They require no trust, so they produce no oxytocin. We are starving in a buffet of human faces because none of them are tribal. The modern city is a biological mismatch. Our ancestors lived in multi-generational circles. You were born, you lived, and you died within the same 150-person bubble. You knew who was the storyteller, who was the healer, and who was the grump. This stability created a profound sense of psychological security. Today, we live in temporary grids. We move for jobs. We change apartments. We lose touch with our neighbors. Every time Thomas moves to a new city for a promotion, he resets his social clock to zero. He has to rebuild his 150-person map from scratch in a world that doesn't want to talk to him. This creates a state of hypervigilance. When you don't have a tribe to back you up, your brain stays in a permanent orange alert. You sleep less deeply. Your heart rate is slightly higher. You are more irritable. You aren't unhappy. You are just tribeless. and the consequences are more than just psychological. Loneliness is more dangerous to your health than smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It is a biological alarm bell telling you that you have wandered too far from the campfire. But there is a darker side to the Dunbar limit. When we exceed 150 connections, our brain starts to dehumanize the extras. This is the root of urban coldness. It's why you can walk past a homeless person in the street without feeling the same pain you'd feel if a friend was hurting. In a tribe of 30, everyone's pain is your pain. In a city of 10 million, everyone's pain is a distraction. We have to shut down our empathy just to survive the sheer volume of human suffering we see every day. We are turning into social sociopaths just to stay sane in the concrete jungle. So, how do we fix a brain that was built for the savannah but trapped in a skyscraper? We have to stop trying to be global and start being local. The secret isn't more friends. It's fewer, deeper circles. You need to identify your inner 5, your close 15, and your tribal 150. If you spend 90% of your time on the extras, you will always feel empty. You have to create artificial fires, a weekly dinner, a sports club, neighborhood association. These are the only things that satisfy the Dunbar limit. Your brain needs to see the same faces in the same place over and over again. Consistency is the language of trust for the human neocortex. We are the only species that tries to live in groups of millions. Ants can do it because they operate on simple chemical signals. We can't do it because we operate on complex emotional narratives. We are social primates who have built a technological hive. The hive is efficient, but the primate is dying of thirst. Thomas eventually realized this. Stop trying to be popular on the internet. He started hosting a small Sunday brunch for the same 6 neighbors every single week. He forced himself to learn the names of the people in his local grocery store. He reclaimed his 150 slots from the digital world and gave them back to the physical world. His city didn't change, but his brain did. The stranger danger cortisol started to fade. The oxytocin started to flow. He was still in Tokyo, but he had found his clearing in the forest. Now, remember the tribal reset I mentioned at the beginning? There is one specific action you can take today to trick your brain into feeling safe in a crowd. It involves a neurological loophole in how your eyes process strangers. In the ancient world, eye contact followed by a specific facial muscle contraction was the universal "I am not a killer" signal. When you are in a crowded city, your brain is scanning for this signal and failing to find it. By performing this reset yourself, you actually change the chemistry of the people around you. I've placed a link in the description to a 30-second breakdown of how to perform the micro-acknowledgement technique. It is the fastest way to lower your social anxiety and reclaim your place in the human tribe. Your loneliness is not a defect of your character. It is a testament to your humanity. It is the voice of Okun calling you back to the fire. Don't ignore it. Honor it. Build your circle. Find your 150. Because in the end, we are all just hunters looking for a place to belong. The city may be crowded, but your tribe is waiting for you to find them. Stop looking at the millions. Start looking at the one. The hunt for connection is the only hunt that matters. I'll see you at the campfire. Goodbye for now.